Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how to make your clutch pull easier. So on a motorcycle, a lot of your control comes from the clutch lever, and having a stiff clutch can lead to arm pump and difficulty with controlling the bike. So I'm going to take you through what leads to a stiff clutch and how to fix it. Let's get started. So there's a few common things here that lead to a stiff clutch. The first being a clutch cable that's not in good shape or not lubed up. And same thing with the clutch lever too. If it's not lubed up or it's really worn out, or maybe if it has a bad design like not a good leverage ratio or not a bearing in the pivot, that would do it too. And then clutch springs too. If you have stiff clutch springs, that will lead to a difficult clutch lever pull. So those are the first three things I would check over, and I'll throw some more ideas at you later. The first thing I'm going to touch on here is the clutch cable. So it's easy and cheap enough just to go buy a new cable, and I would recommend getting a Motion Pro or OEM one. Both really good quality. So whether you're using a new or used cable, you definitely got to lube it up though. If you're using a used cable, I'll show you what to look for here in the end to determine whether you should buy a new cable or not. Alright, I've got the cable off the lever, and what you want to look for here is any strands of cable coming loose or fraying. And then also if the cable's got a bend in it, that will make it really hard to pull in. And then there's rust and corrosion on the inner part of the cable. That'll indicate it hasn't been lubed in a while and either needs to be lubed really good or just replaced. So this cable looks pretty good, and like I said earlier, whether you're using a new or used cable, you'll definitely want to lube it up. So I'm going to show you how to go about that. The tool I use for lubing the cable is made by Motion Pro, really slick design, and I use their cable lube as well. Alright, so how this works is there's two halves. Just going to screw them apart, and there should be a rubber grommet inside of here. And this is what seals the cable. So the outer piece slides on first, followed up with the rubber grommet. Just kind of work your way around the grooves onto the cable here. Just like that. Slide that down. Now we can just screw on the top half of the cable lubing tool. You want to make sure this rod is extended all the way out. That way you have room for the cable in there. Give it a nice little tighten so that way things seal up well. And this is where we're going to squirt lube in here at the end. There's a little hole for the cable lubing straw. Now it's as simple as just spraying lube into the tool, and that'll work lube all the way down to the end of the cable. And what I like to do is give it a solid 4 or 5 squirts and then check down at the other end of the cable, see if there's any presence of lube down there. So once you've verified that there's lube at the end of the cable, we're just going to push in the end of the plunger here. You may want to have a rag handy, and that'll push all of the lube into the cable. So at that point, we're done. So I lube my cable about every month, I would say, if I'm riding quite a bit. So every couple of rides will do. It's nice to have a really smooth working cable. Ooh, that is super smooth now. Definitely needed to be lubed up, that's for sure. So that's it for the cable, and now it's on to the lever. So having a really quality lever is really critical to having a smooth operating clutch too. So the reason why these Works Connection levers and Perches work so well is because they've got a sealed bearing here in the pivot, and that just makes it work buttery smooth. We've also got a really good leverage ratio, and everything is just really quality materials. It's all CNC machined, and just they've got the whole package figured out. And on top of that, the cable adjuster here, the lever reach here with a hex head on the outside that adjusts how far the lever sits out from your hand or your fingers, and just a really quality setup. So definitely my favorite lever by far. I'll have the link to where you can buy them down below. And once again, whether you're using an OEM Perch and lever or a Works Connection setup like this, you got to keep it lubed up. So I'm going to pull this thing apart and show you the areas that you need to regularly grease. So it looks like there's still a good amount of grease left on this lever from before, but I'm going to wipe it all down and throw some fresh stuff on for you guys. Now that the lever's clean, you can see there's actually 3 bearings here in the pivot. So they go pretty hardcore with making these levers as good as possible. And so the grease I'm using is this Maxima waterproof stuff. Really good quality, and I've had great luck with it over the years. So I'm gonna grease up the adjuster right here, or where the adjuster sits, and then inside the perch as well. And then not a bad idea to put some on the pivot surface of the lever as well. And then the last thing I'll grease up is the pivot bolt. And for the pivot bolt, you just want to give it a light snug. If you go too tight, it'll actually pinch the perch and the lever and create some friction there. And then of course you have a nut that goes on the bottom side here, and that's what holds that pivot bolt into position. You can go a little bit tighter since it won't pinch the perch there. And before you install a cable, you want to make sure the lever operates really smoothly and there's no friction there. This one feels really good. And before you fully install the cable up top, don't forget to hook it up at the bottom. So to get the cable back into the adjuster here, you got to hold tension on the cable and then pull in the lever, and that'll give you enough room to pop it into place. And while I'm working up here, I figured I'd touch on the subject of clutch cable free play. So how you check it is you put a little bit of pressure on the cable here, pull it away from the lever, and then pull in the lever slightly. Kind of working the lever and the cable apart from each other. So there should be about the width of a quarter here between the perch and the lever. And then to adjust it, you just roll this forward to tighten it up. Right there, there's very little free play. And then roll it backward to increase the free play. Now I'm down here at the actual clutch, and there's two things here that could lead to a stiff clutch lever. The first being springs that are too stiff. So the springs are located underneath these bolts here. So if you're unsure of what springs you have, you can pull them out and measure them, or you can go get a new OEM set or like a Tusk replacement set from Rocky Mountain. Pretty cheap to do and erases any worry about the clutch springs. And the second thing that could lead to a stiff clutch lever pull is a notched out clutch basket. So the clutch basket is this piece right here. It's got all these little fingers that run down inside of there. And when those get notched out, it creates a ton of friction when you pull in that clutch lever. So if you want more info on what a notched out basket will look like, I did a video called How to Fix a Slipping Clutch. And I pulled all this apart, went in depth on what to look for inside the clutch. Really good video, so head over to the channel and look that one up. It's called How to Fix a Slipping Clutch. And I'll actually put the link to that video right up here in the corner of the screen. Just click that little circle. And one more thing you can do to make your clutch lever pull a little bit easier is slide your lever and perch over on the handlebars a little bit. That'll give you some more leverage and get your finger right in a good spot in the lever where you have a good grip on it. So if you have your perch all the way over to your grip, you're not gonna have a whole lot of leverage with that, but if you slide it over, 2 or 3 inches, that's gonna make it a lot easier. I could even go farther than that to where my finger is like right here in the middle of the lever, but I like it right at the bend here. Just a nice, comfortable position for me. So play around with it, see what you like, and just having the lever over a few inches on the bar is gonna make it a lot easier. What makes a big difference with the cable is how it's routed. So if it's coming from the left side of the handlebars, it should go through the right side of the forks here. This is the clutch cable right here, it looks like. So the cable should make a big arc to it. So starting at the lever, make a nice big arc through the forks there, or through the triple clamps, down through the frame, and then coming over to this side, should come right down through the center of the frame. Let's locate it right there, and into the crankcase. And if you have any sharp bends in the cable, that is going to hinder the cable performance quite a bit. And if you're still struggling with a stiff clutch lever, there's one more thing you can check here. This is the clutch actuator arm, goes into the crankcase back here, and there's a set of bearings inside the crankcase that actuator arm rides on. And if those bearings come apart, that'll definitely lead to a stiff clutch lever. Not very likely, but definitely a possibility. So there's 2 modifications that I know that'll really help with the clutch lever pull. The first being a Moose Easy Pull system. Basically goes in the middle of your cable, creates more leverage and makes it easier to pull in the lever. And then the second system is a Magura hydraulic setup. So it replaces your lever, your perch, your cable, goes all the way down to the engine where it hooks up. And so hydraulic systems are really easy to pull in and they automatically adjust. And if you want more info on those systems, I'll put the links to where you can buy them down below in the description box. And if all that fails, you should probably hit the gym or just switch hands or something. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, you're missing out. Lots of big projects in the works. Alright, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you in a future video. Keep it prime.